So here is an underlying cause of burnout and overwhelm among high achieving women that often gets missed. I want to talk about this a little bit today. So if you're burnout, you feel emotionally reactive, maybe you're getting brain fog, you can't shut your mind off, you've been a driven, ambitious, high achieving, perfectionistic maybe type of woman, and now you're feeling all the things, you're feeling overwhelmed in your body and your mind. I want to talk about one of the underlying causes and what you can do about it. So hi, my name is Rochelle Walsh. If you're new to me, I've been a trauma therapist for many years, and now I have a program helping women go from overwhelmed to calm and confident in their emotions. It's called Joyful and Present. So I want to talk about this because one of the things that oftentimes I see is that women get to a certain age and maybe things are a little less busy for them. Maybe they've kind of reached a pinnacle in their career, and so there's not this next thing that they're striving for, or maybe their kids have graduated and gone off to college and their life seems to be a little bit quieter. There's a little less urgency in their day, and yet the emotions they feel are even stronger than before. They have a hard time being still, their mind races, they wake up with angst, they're preoccupied, they don't feel like they can be present, they just want to be able to relax, and they can look around and see that life's pretty good, that they don't have, that they're safe, that there isn't a lot of, outward stressors that should be causing them the level of distress, and yet it bubbles up. So I want to talk about this because what a lot of people don't understand is that they're many times below overachieving is chronic stress that comes from push down trauma. A lot of these people don't even recognize that it was trauma, though some of them may, but they have been the ones who, maybe didn't have help with their emotions when they were young, or maybe hard things happened in their families, or maybe they just developed this innate ability to be able to perceive what was going on around them and fix things for other people and achieve high. And what a lot of people don't understand is they think that, addictions or acting out trauma is always going to look like something bad, like an outward, addiction to drugs or alcohol or acting out. But actually, many times the way people numb and become disconnected from emotional experiences, and again, this was very much protective probably at one time, because maybe if there were hard things going on, or maybe they didn't understand things that were happening in their emotional world, it became very protective to be able to focus outward, fix things, do things, achieve, and disconnected from their own emotions. And this, again, was probably very helpful at one time. And one of the things that keeps propelling it is that there's a lot of outward reinforcement for it. So people might complain if you are, laying on the couch playing video games all day, not getting anything done, or certainly if you are drinking too much or have another addiction. But when the addiction is to pleasing and achieving, there's a lot of outward reinforcement for that. So, people might make comments, I don't know how you do it all, or people might be giving things to you because you're always the one that seems to be able to make it happen and do things for other people. And on one hand, it makes you feel good because they're good things that you're doing, achieving high and helping other people, but it becomes exhausting. And over time, this disconnection with the self and our own emotions becomes very weighty in the nervous system, and this suppressed emotion and trauma is held down. And then when things get a little bit quieter and there's nothing outward to be struggling against, or maybe there's fewer ball games, or like I said, fewer pressures with work, what happens is we become more aware. This inside stuff kind of raises up to the top. And if someone wasn't given, if they didn't have what's, termed by I think it's Peter Levine, like an empathic witness to the things that happened early in life, then when these emotions come up, they just feel overwhelming. And we know there's a lot of emotions that come up, right? Hard things happen in life. We lose people, we have concerns for people that we love get sick or hurt or have other various stressors. And so when there's not a good capacity to move into one's own emotions and successfully calm and soothe them, and we have this constant need to focus outward through overachieving, pleasing, I call the 3 P's, please, perform, and produce. When we have this outward need to distance from our own emotions through outward behavior, that is where hidden trauma gets stored and again gets displayed through high achievement, people pleasing, and producing. And so as things get quieter and there's less urgency around, these inner feelings can come up. And, over time of carrying them, they just get heavier. And so it's not always the outward stressor that turns on the alarm. Our own emotional experiences, women might experience this maybe when their child goes off to college and all of a sudden it's an empty nest, or they go through something hard like a divorce or a job loss, or maybe their identity has been through being a homemaker and now the seasons of the family have changed. So there's many things that can trigger this, but really what it is that these people have been super resilient, super hardworking, they're super strong, super adaptive, and so they've been able to just push through. But what they don't know is how to be able to relax and how to be able to move through emotions. And so, they're oftentimes very self-critical. And so, when a lot of women come in with this, they don't recognize that they've had trauma, or if they do recognize they have had trauma, they think, well, I've already worked through that. I've already forgiven. I've moved on. And in fact, they have. They've gone on to create great lives. They've been the person in their family who was the cycle breaker. They've gone on to do something different, but their body holds the imprint of the stress. Their body holds the heaviness of that stored survival stress over time. So being able to move through emotions is really important, and being able to release that stored stress and build new capacity for relaxing in the present. And so the first thing I'll tell people is that this isn't something you can reason your way out of. So many of the women I've helped have read many books, listened to many podcasts, been to therapy, been in their devotions, have strong faith, but it's very much a physiological way that the trauma and the stress is stored in the body, and it's in the lower limbic system. So really calming the nervous system and being able to experience safety within the body and being able to get to a place of stillness has to happen before we can reprogram some of those core beliefs that let the person know that it is okay to relax, and that you have this core deep worth and beauty that has nothing at all to do with how much you achieve or, what problem you're fixing for someone else, that it's really okay. And that when we have that and we get connected with our own sense of, true worth just for who we are, that we are a human being, not a human doing, and can really get safe and experience safety in there, then we can still do all the things. We can still achieve, we can still, help people, we can still be, in fact, we can be an even truer version of ourselves, the wives, mothers, workers, disciple person that we are created to be. So it's not about giving up important functions that you have, or quitting the job, or making a move, or always making some drastic change in your life. Sometimes getting through burnout is just being able to relax and release what no longer serves you. We don't need to dig into all the past things. So when I say there's, a hidden stored trauma or survival stress, you don't have to always know what it is or go back into that event to be able to fix it. What we need to do is to be able to release the stuff from the past by changing the way our nervous system functions in the present. And it really can happen remarkably fast when you have a strategic system for how to do that. And you can spend, even I tell people, like 15 minutes a day. If you can do 15 minutes a day consistently, you can really create new nervous system regulation in a very short period of time. And there's many layers to this, but I just wanted to address this. So if you're someone who has is facing burnout or overwhelm or been stuck in chronic stress, and it feels like it's just too much, you might consider, could it be possible that maybe it's not that your job is too demanding, maybe it's the expectations and the urgency with which you have been doing life. Again, not your fault, probably for very good reasons this developed. It can also develop just through prolonged seasons of stress where it's just go, 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 go. And our system adapts to the cortisol, the adrenaline, and that's what we get addicted to. We get addicted to the chemicals in the body. We get addicted to the numbing. And so it really is about calming that and then building capacity to move through our emotions. So I hope this was helpful. I do have a link below for a free training where I explain more about the brain and chronic stress and overwhelm, as well as my approach for helping women move through it. If this interests you, I'd love for you to watch that. And if you find these videos helpful, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next training.